Hey, what's going on? How are you, folks? We've got more streams today for the Take the Initiative tournament. And yeah, let's get right into these lists here. First up, we got Hippo. He's running his mean green Sabine. And this is a list we've seen before. It's doing quite well with the red green combination. Very fast list, very well paced, I should say, as well. Um, got the hard hitting cards, of course, like the red threes, like the Sabines, and of course the finishers for a cause I believe in. Wing Leader, Fleet Lieutenant, all those cards really wrap things up rather quickly. And his opponent today is running a Krennic list. That would be Mars running the Krennic Blue that we've seen a few times today. We've actually seen four of the lists, two of them playing each other, of course. Um, and then, yeah, so his hard hitting cards obviously coming in a little bit later in the game. And that will be, uh, cards like your Avengers, your Overwhelming Barrage, your Vaders. So the hard part will be to get to that point, of course. Um, yeah, so it'll be interesting to see if he can make it there. Krennic has struggled with that in the past, but this list has a good amount of Sentinel, got Traitoresses to really hold off the aggro from overwhelming the board too quickly. But I do expect once the sideboarding comes in to see some of these bigger units come out in favor of some cheaper cards like the makes and openings and stuff like that. So yeah, we'll definitely see how these guys play it out. A slight technical issue here. 1 second, and we'll be underway. All right, folks, we got that resolved. So, welcome back. We're here live, and yeah, we should be on our way here relatively quickly. All right, it looks like Hippo here will have the initiative to start things off. I'm not sure if they're waiting on me. Let's see. All right. We're there. We're ready. Yeah, quite a good hand there for Hippo for sure. And Mars actually seeing quite a few cards that he wants to see as well. He's got some two drops, he's got a three drop, and then he's got a four and a five. That's pretty much all you can ask for as a control player into a aggro setup. I think that's quite powerful. Be interested to see, if ECL would have been a play there. On the opening round, it's you can almost feel a bit wasted, but stopping that early damage, it actually would stop potentially four or five damage next turn. Um, so interesting to see if that would come into play at all. Yeah, Fleet Lieutenant there start things off with five damage. Um, Now, of course, yeah, Viper Probe can kill one of them, um, which would be quite good. It looks like he's going to take care of that Fleet Lieutenant. And we'll see a cell block guard come down here. Hippo will regain the initiative or retain. Yeah. And Mars is finding answers even in the space arena. We could certainly see a red 3 play this turn. I think it's quite probable. Either that or a wing leader. So, yeah, having a Consortium Star Viper in hand, uh, Consortium Star Viper in hand, will be nice. He'll be able to ECL it. Yeah, so Hippo making the choice between the two fighters. He was going to put down one of them. I think keeping Red 3 out there is pretty nice. And Hippo will be forced to trade off the ground units, which is good for Mars. And he doesn't mind waiting here at all. He's got a takedown ready for Sabine. Yeah, so he's going to pass this round, and he'll be happy to pass again. So now the choice is between going with the takedown or going with the Star Viper. He can certainly do both, and both are pretty powerful. I like the Star Viper play personally, so I think that's pretty good. He'll be able to heal two instantaneously, and saving himself at least one damage this round, which isn't too good. Oh wait, he doesn't heal. My apologies. Yeah, he did not have initiative, so not bad. And this turn, I think we just see a takedown since that saves quite a bit of damage. But overwhelming barrage is not bad either. I think the takedown just makes more sense. Um, yeah, I don't know. Either one is pretty good, honestly. So we'll see the takedown. And at five resources, I think for a cause and a battlefield marine is solid. I think playing the fleet lieutenant is also pretty good. And yeah, he should also heal. And he did remember that. Good. So we'll see for a cause here. And it'll be three damage to base. pretty good overall for the draw there. Um, yeah, I think he can get rid of. Yeah, make getting rid of those two cards is nice. Having a guaranteed draw of a Steadfast and a Falcon next turn is going to be pretty good. And you got to remember, Traders is pretty weak on Falcon because if you Traitorous, it's still I believe the player who put it down their choice to take it back to hand, even if it's under your control, since they are the player who played it. I might be wrong on that completely, but I think I remember hearing that at some point. And I think honestly, a Traitorous here would be pretty good. Taking a unused Battlefield Marine, not a bad play at all, and that'll keep Fleet Lieutenant from activating. And if you're the Star Viper here, you can certainly just go ahead and take care of that Falcon. Uh, that's all you need to do anyway. You'll heal two, and you'll get rid of it on the board. Yeah, he's playing it out of aspect, so it does cost 5 for that Falcon. And I think the move is just to kill off the Falcon. Yeah, not a bad play at all. Yeah, I think it's worthwhile to give up initiative as well here. You'll be able to swing 5 to the base, and you'll be able to heal 2. So overall, pretty good. Putting some significant pressure now onto the Sabine player, and kind of a dead draw there for Hippo. Not exactly what you want to see is 2 heroic sacrifices. He can certainly play a Ewing here. I think that might be the play he has to go with. Um, but you'd like to have a little more options than just 2 heroic sacrifices sometimes. Let's see. Yeah, Mars sitting on 2 Overwhelming Barrage, another Traitorous, and then a Seasoned Short Trooper. So he's got plenty of ways to deal with a board here. He's going to put down a K2 and a Millennium Falcon. I personally think the best play here is an Overwhelming Barrage out of Mars, hitting the Falcon, hitting the K2, and then finishing off the K2 with the Battlefield Marine. The reason being, of course, he's trying to limit the damage to the base. He could also attack K2 with Krennic just to get a damage on him, but I think putting some pressure on the base as well is a pretty good idea. And like I mentioned earlier, I think the Traitorous play on the Falcon has some weird aspects to it, so that's kind of where I'm leaning on this one. And then it also allows him to play the Seasoned Short Trooper as well. So yeah, that seems like a high quality play for sure. Killing K2, I'm going to assume that he's going to take an extra 3 damage. That makes sense. And then the Seasoned Short Trooper as well. Getting some really good draws here to be able to fully utilize his resources every single round here. That's been incredibly valuable. We'll see an Echo-based defender come down. And if we see a Traitorous here, I think that's just going to be a wrap on game one. It's a pretty tough position to be as the Sabine player when you're running into a control deck that is able to build such a big board. Into Battlefield Marine. And Fleet Lieutenant will come down as well. Oh, and he's going to go for the Juggernaut. Yeah, that's also another good card. And he's got a Power of Dark Side as well. So even if Hippo's able to make some attacks here, he's got some significant headwinds to fight against. Going for 5 to the base with the other Fleet Lieutenant. Strong play for sure. But a Barrage here would clean up 2 units. And a Power of the Dark Side would finish off the other one. And I believe that's, yeah, Hippo saying GG. Yeah, Mars had a fantastic hand there to start things off. Definitely on a strong foot for him. He'd want that win before the sideboarding, because the sideboarding is really when Krennic can start applying the pressure to the aggro matchup. Of course, aggro is heavily favored in this matchup just because he moves so fast that the long control decks can't even keep up. I do appreciate that, Mars, showing us what you're putting in the sideboard. That definitely helps a lot, so that we understand what you're going for. Hopefully, he watches it back and hears that. And Krennic is definitely it's a solid list overall. It's one of my favorites for the set, just because it has a lot of tools to deal with aggro, from ECL, from Krennic itself to some of the units that it runs, like a Viper Probe that not every deck is going to be running in Villainy. It hits for 3, so into the aggro game, you got Battlefield Marines, you have Echo based defenders, and all of them have 3 HP. So swinging for 3 is definitely important. Now, what Hippo wants to see for sure coming into this second game is a very aggressive hand, and it looks like he's got one. He's got a Green Squadron A-Wing. He's got a Rebel Pathfinder, so he can arena dodge if need be. And yeah, he's got a Rebel Assault, so he's going to be making a lot of attacks very quickly. It'll be interesting to see what he brought in. Going over his list, he's got the Fang Fighters, he's got the Bright Hopes, and he's got the Wolves. I think the Wolves could seriously see some play here, and maybe the Fang Fighters too, to negate the value of the Traitoresses. So might see some of that come in here. And we'll see a Pathfinder and a Viper Probe. And Mars getting another nuclear hand there, really. Pathfinder will swing for 4 into the base. And I think we just see a power to clear up the board and heal 2. Or sorry, not heal 2. Let's make an opening. The power will help keep some damage off the base. Hippo's got a lot of potential for damage here. I think we're going to see A very aggressive Sabine play. As soon as she comes out, um, you know, all things start to go really fast. We have Echo Base Defender and a Spec Force that can be played this round. And then a Medal Ceremony potentially next round to give all 3 units, or all the units that are on the field that attacked, that +1 counter. But Mars is going to get rid of that Echo Base using the power of the dark side to do so. And he'll take the initiative as well. Spec Force and Sabine. Sabine hitting the base for 3, and Metal Ceremony to put her up to 6 HP. I think that's a good use of it as well. Gets her out of the takedown range and forces Mars to deploy some units. Of course, he doesn't have takedown in hand, but you always got to play, like the options there. But yeah, strong play from both of these guys. And Mars has a tough choice here. He can go with the make an opening. He can go with the cell block guard. Um, both of those options being solid choices. I think he can just drop the Inferno 4 here as a resource since we are on the 4th round. And I think, yeah, I mean, both are really good. Obviously, he can't play both this round, but he can't do an overwhelming barrage since he doesn't have any units on the board. So I think maybe a make an opening this round or a cell block deployment, both of which would be quite good. You could even ECL the cell block into the Spec Force soldier, kill that, and stay alive so that Sabine is forced to hit you with a big attack. And I don't hate that at all. He's gonna Hippo's gonna ECL here, Steadfast Battalion, kill it, and deal 2 extra to, or sorry, 4 extra to the base. Very solid play there. And you see the speed and aggression that is possible here. And Mars, he's got some answers potentially. Um, we could see him attack the Spec Force soldier, but he might attack the Sabine instead, so that way Hippo is forced to activate the Spec Force, and then Mars can end up with the initiative. Something along those lines would make a ton of sense to me. But keeping initiative as well and taking the 2 extra damage, it also lines up. And a barrage here could seriously hurt. Dealing 4 damage could kill the Steadfast Battalion and the Spec Force soldier. He would still be looking at 3 damage this round from Sabine at least. But that does not kill him. Or sorry, 4 damage from Sabine at the very least. And I think if you're Hippo, you just go for the Rebel Assault here, even though it's only 1 unit. That'll put Mars on life support, really. 24 damage to the base. He will be able to heal too, putting him at 22 at the end of the round. But that's not terrible. Still got a tremendous amount of value out of that Steadfast Battalion. It's a very good card. And he will take the initiative. Hippo with the initiative. and a tough resource call for Mars. He's got a lot of powerful cards and abilities. I think the easiest one to get rid of is the probably the Super Laser Blast. But that will be GG. Top decking the Fleet Lieutenant for Hippo, and that'll do it. Well played to these guys. Yeah, that was a tremendous one. 1-1 now. On to game 3. We'll see what they end up pulling out here. I'm not sure if any more changes would be made. Looks like they're just going to go for it. Keeping one on top, so it looked like a tough call there. I think we see Inferno hit the base for 2 here. And then we'll have the Death Troopers ECL. That's kind of what I'm thinking. He is holding on to that Steadfast Battalion, so he might be thinking of a line where he deploys the Death Troopers, dealing 2 to himself and Sabine. The unfortunate part is it doesn't kill her. Looks like that's what he's going to go with. Oh, and we'll see the Sabine trade off the Death Trooper. Oh, sorry, kill it off using her on attack ability. So good play there from Hippo. And he'll deploy an Echo Base Defender. Definitely some strong value gained on that turn for him. And Mars not seeing a hand that he wanted to. He'll only have a make an opening this turn. And he'll go for a K2SO here. Mars retains the initiative, but he's taking a lot of damage here. Sabine's going to hit for 3 more, putting him all the way up to 8. And Mars can deal with that Echo Base Defender using Steadfast Battalion. That'll keep him alive at 1 HP. forcing Hippo here to either deal with it or face the consequences. And I think that's a very strong play from Mars. Really, almost a forced play, either that or the overwhelming barrage. But now he'll have access to overwhelming barrage later in the game. And we'll see a Donna followed by the Krennic. And I expect Hippo to just go for the base here. He's got a lot of damage potential, but that makes sense as well. Killing off the Steadfast with K2, dealing the extra damage as a overwhelm part of his attack, and then the 3 damage for his when defeated ability. Hippo still has a unit he can deploy. He can put down the Spec Force to finish off his resources, and he can still attack with Sabine for 4. I think Krennic attacking the base here is a really solid play. You still heal 2 while putting a little bit more pressure onto the opponent. But he's going to go for the Didana. And Spec Force to ECL into Krennic will kill him, getting the +1/+1 from Didana. Strong play there from Hippo. And Mars will retain the initiative, I believe. After damages to the base. At 6 resources here, he's only looking at 1 unit removal this round. Dealing the damage to Didana was strong. I think preserving Krennic's ability to stay alive and heal 2 damage each round was quite important. And it's the same kind of thing, losing the Death Trooper so early in the game definitely hurt, as every action is, it becomes so much larger when playing in an aggro deck. We're going to see OB here, 4 damage. He'll be able to kill Didana and deal 2 to Sabine. And I think we will see a Fleet Lieutenant. So that'll be 5 to the base. Mars is on life support. He's got only 3 HP remaining, and he'll put down a Wolf. Now there's lines out of this, I think, but I'm not sure. Oh well, no, Saboteur with Wolf. Wow, yeah, strong plays there from Hippo, keeping his run alive, and a very favorable matchup for him. So yeah, no hate to either him or Mars here. They both played very well. I think the big part of the whole matchup is, of course, when you're playing control, it's aggro is probably the weakest one for you. So you've got to get pretty lucky with the card draws and have things go your way like it did for the first game. That first game was exactly what every control player wants to see against the aggro player. Yeah, pretty much every single answer he needed to take out that round. So good on these guys. I really appreciate them letting me stream this real quick. And I believe we're going to get to the final matchup here relatively shortly. So